everybody, this is Boogess Reviews, and today I'm going to be doing a review on the Marvel Legends Apocalypse Wave Wolverine figure. So before we take a look at Wolverine, let's take a look at the accessories that he comes with. So first up, he comes with the hoses to Apocalypse, and I really don't understand why they didn't, make it come with either the arms or the torso. I never understood that when I got this figure, but they came separately. I mean, even if Wolverine was an add-on figure, like a 7th figure in the wave, people would still buy it so they can complete the Jim Lee X-Men figures. But he comes with these, and I will note that these always pop out on both his arms and his waist right here. So that's another reason why I wish it would have came with the torso, because they should have glued these in right here. Or made them permanently attached, that way they wouldn't come out again. Now with the arms, they couldn't be permanently attached because of the alternate clamp hands that you can get from Archangel. But that's his Build-A-Figure piece, and he comes with alternate hands without the claws. Now these hands pop out very hard, and I don't like that because I feel like I'm going to break the claws when I do that. So, getting these in is just a little easier, but... Okay, so, I had to stop the video and then start again because I knocked my whole diorama over trying to get these alternate hands on. Well, trying to get the alternate hand off. And getting this one on was really difficult, too. So, yeah, I'm not a fan of these hands because, I mean, why would you want Wolverine posed with these hands? But yeah, they're really difficult to get on. So now I'm going to stop this video so I can get them off again. Okay, so there he is, back with these hands on, and I would recommend leaving them on because I knocked my diorama over a second time trying to get these back on. I'm glad they fit that good because the Vintage Wave Wolverine and the Juggernaut Wave Wolverine's hands just popped off really, really easily, and I didn't like that. But these fit a little too tight in case you do want to switch the hands out. So, now, let's take a look at his head sculpt. So, for the head sculpt, it is brand new. It is different than the Apocalypse Wave / Vintage Wave Wolverine. This one has him snarling. And people didn't like that his cowl wasn't out like that, like it should be. But it really doesn't bother me. I like it as is. It's kind of one of those things that, it just depends on the artist that's drawing it, as to what his cowl looks like. Just put that Wolverine back there. But as you can see, there are a few things that are different about this Wolverine. The first being that he's snarling, and you can see his teeth. I do like this head sculpt a lot better, even though the teeth aren't painted on the greatest. It kind of looks like one gigantic tooth. I don't know, I feel like they should have put, like, maybe some black in there, in between his teeth. I don't know. Just, or maybe just a darker shade of white. That way it didn't look like he has just one gigantic tooth right there. He has these shoulder pads, and they're pegged into his arm, like that. And that's good. I haven't had trouble with them falling off. You can move them up, you can move them, or you can move them up this way, out this way, and up, and it doesn't hinder his articulation, and they don't pop off. And the second is his belt. So this one's actually like a real belt, and this is his X-Men belt. But the body mold is the same exact thing. I feel like the arm has more hair sculpted on it, and this is just painted on. So even though they are the same sculpt, they did retool it just slightly to have some hair sculpted on his arm. Although it still isn't painted on, which I really don't like, because they could have even done a wash of black. I would have been fine with that. And also I wanted to see if the Logan head sculpt would fit on here. Almost doesn't feel like it's going to. I know with the Old Man Logan figure, this head didn't fit on it. It'd be a shame if this didn't fit on this Wolverine. Is it on there? Yeah, it sits up on the peg just a little bit. But it does work. That's really good. Skin tone doesn't quite match up. The skin tone on this Wolverine is much darker. But you can still do that, and I'm glad you can. Just because they didn't include that with him. Now, where did I put his head? There. Now, the paint apps on this are really clean. I mean, there's just a little bit right there. But overall, the paint apps on this came out really nice. Like, I think the lines came out really crisp on his gloves. Now, I wish they would have sculpted his gloves on instead of just painted them on. Like, actually sculpt a line right there. But they just painted it on. Like I said, no paint detail on his arms like I wish there would be. His shoulder pads look really nice. They're that shimmery blue metallic looking plastic. And like I said, they're very soft so they don't hinder his articulation or fall off. And then there's his belt. And there's just a little bit of black that's missing right there. But if you have it back like that, you don't notice it at all. And then there's his boots. And he actually does have some soles sculpted on his boots. So that's a nice attention to detail. Usually Hasbro just makes it completely smooth and no detail whatsoever on the bottoms of their feet. But it is cool that Hasbro added that detail. So now let's go over his articulation. He has a ball-jointed head that can look back that far. He can't quite look up all the way. He can look down all the way. He can move his head side to side. He has ball-jointed shoulders that can move out that far. He has swivel at the bicep. Start to say thigh. Double-jointed elbow. Swivel wrist that can move side to side and up and down. He has an ab crunch that can move back that far. He can't crunch forward all the way. He has swiveled waist that can move side to side. Ball-jointed hips that can move out that far. He can kick forward all the way and back just a little bit. He has swivel at the thigh, double-jointed knee, swivel at the boot, swivel at the ankle, and an ankle rocker. So now, let's take a look at some size comparisons here. Now, I do have quite a few figures for size comparisons. So that'll probably take up a little bit of this review. So let's get him posed here. Or kind of just in a pose where he'll stand. Because he does tend to want to fall over. Okay, there. So now, here he is next to the Vintage Wave Wolverine. And let me get his foot straightened out there. And this Wolverine is just a little bit taller. The head does sit down on the peg just a little bit more on this Wolverine. And I feel like they're both pretty good with height. Because Wolverine is supposed to be a really short character. And with the Toy Biz Wolverines, they didn't quite capture that. Which, the Toy Biz Wolverines are still amazing, they're just not perfectly accurate. So, before I go on to the Toy Biz Wolverines, here he is next to Sabretooth. And I'm really happy to have these two updated versions of Wolverine and Sabretooth. I also think it's really awesome that Hasbro made them in the same wave together. That's why I said, even if Wolverine didn't have those, the hose pieces, and he was just one of the extra figures in the wave, people would have still bought him. Oh, before I go to the Wolverines, I also wanted to show him next to Cyclops. I almost forgot about having the Cyclops to do a comparison with. And finally, here he is next to the Toy Biz versions. Now, here he is next to the X-Men Legends. I think this was Tiger Stripe Wolverine was the name of it. He had this thing you'd put in his back, and he would have slashing action. Now, this one is more accurate in height. And as you can tell, he has a lot of shading going on. And does he have hair painted on his arms? Yes. It's very faint, but he does have it. As you can tell, mine has a lot of scuffs and stuff from time. But this one is more accurate in size. I gotta say, I like the head sculpt a lot better on this one. Like, they painted in between his teeth, so you could tell they were individual. Unlike this Wolverine, who kind of has one giant tooth. But yeah, this one was more accurate in size. The next one, not so much. This was, I want to say, Series 5, Marvel Legends Wolverine. I can't remember what series it was. but it was in the same wave with Thor, Ghost Rider, and Magneto, I believe. So here they are next to each other, and as you can tell, this Wolverine is not accurate in size at all. He's not short, and he's more muscular, too. But I do like the shading. He has a lot of shading. And this is what I wanted Hasbro to do on Wolverine's arms. Actually paint the hair on. Because it's not painted on the greatest, but it's still painted on. And I think that this figure would have benefited from that. But there he is next to this one. But overall, I would highly recommend this figure. So if you like this review, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.